Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world, and welcome to another darkness. After meeting with Alicia and Heinrich in Gramercy Park, Wild Spider attempted to sleep in the new it now calls home, but after laying restless for several hours, the plucky Ananasis' desire to see more of the city and not be idle finally kicked in. The spider jumped down from its little hidey hole, shifted into its Hobbit form under the guise of Charlotte, and made its way a good many blocks away from its tree roost, so to speak, its nest. Within several or so walking, she realizes that she's now almost on the lower part of the mountain. It's by one of the local coffee stores and steps inside and uses a few crumpled bits given to her by Sable, a cup of her favorite beverage. Well, maybe not favorite beverage, but one of her favorites of hot chocolate. As we start the scene, we find Smith stepping out of the coffee shop, taking the lid off of the hot cocoa and just taking in the scent and the aroma of the whipped cream on top and the scent of the mocha chocolate underneath.
The smell indeed does drift on the wind, on the breeze that is, and catches the nostrils of one little baby gangrel sitting on just a little side street set of stairs up into a little apartment. She's got a book open in front of her and just looks up at the smell, has a smell, and goes, "Oh, that's awesome. That smells so good." And goes back to reading, sadly.
Wild Spider turns her head towards Elena and just kind of smirks to herself as she finds herself a seat on the opposite end of the bench and just sits down and holds the cup up just slightly so it actually catches the breeze, which is blowing towards Elena, of course. Just letting that scent just blow right towards her, wafting directly at her.
Elena grabs onto the book a tiny bit harder, whilst by the way, so you see the knuckles on her hands become a tiny bit white as she grips onto the book. Nostrils still flare to take in the scent and then just exhale, and Elena will actually stop breathing because it just smells so good and she doesn't want to smell it anymore. Oh, blatant masquerade bitch, but she is so young and so ignorant. Considering the last time somebody sat down next to her, what happened there, she's very much on edge. But she just doesn't say anything and just continues reading, staring straight down into her book. And maybe just does those ones.
The person sitting next to her just watching her reaction, observing as she seems to get more and more fidgety around the scent of it, and what she can only assume is the reason of the scent, finally snickers a bit and holds the cup towards her. I haven't taken a drink yet, if you'd like some.
It's very nice of you, but I'm good, thank you.
Are you sure? And she kind of...
Manipulation roll. I have no subterfuge, so I'm just going on straight manipulation if that suits you.
Go for it. Subterfuge is a... so you're not at a minus on that one.
Yeah. Ching. No, I
Oh,
discovered
wow.
last month that I've got. Yeah, sorry, I discovered last month I have a lactose intolerance. I miss it though.
Just gonna try and roll... screw it.
It's three
Not
successes, never mind,
knowing...
I specialize.
Yeah, I know, it's... Not that she doesn't agree, or... Not that she doesn't believe you, she doesn't know what lactose intolerance is.
Okay.
That's, I don't know, whatever that is, I don't think it overrules just this sweet, sweet aroma. And she pulls it back to her face and just takes a big scent in. I wonder if this is what a cloud smells like.
You're not helping. Lactose intolerance pretty much just means that your body can't digest the lactose contained in milk and cheese. It gives you a stomach ache, and in severe cases can be really detrimental. Did you know that a lot of people in Asian countries are lactose intolerant just simply because it's not part of their normal diet? But the fascinating thing is that when you're born, you can digest it quite easily because you need to have the milk from your mother. But as you stop being breastfed, when you start weaning, that's when it comes into it. Which is strange that it came to me so very late. She quickly backpedals and tries to cover up her little lie. Which is strange that I only just discovered it, but it does make sense why it would always hurt my tummy to eat cheese. I used to like cheese. To go back to reading.
Charlotte will take the foaming top and sort of suck up the whipped cream off the top and then hold it back out. I think it's actually made from mocha, so there's not actually a whole lot of dairy in it.
I'm not going to risk it. And plus, you've put your germs on it.
I don't have germs.
You do have germs. All of us have germs.
Not one for social graces. Wild Spider will take some of the leftover cream on the rim of the cup and just dab it on her finger and very quickly just kind of flick it onto Elena's nose. And with a playful grin, just smirks at her.
Elena does these ones. That was uncalled for.
Come on, you know you want some.
Didn't get any of that.
She basically said, you know you want some. Come on.
Elena just takes a deep sigh and actually closes her eyes. There's this little hum that comes from the back of her throat. Just. And she'll wipe her nose, wipe it on her jacket, and then just stand up and go, I think that I might just read somewhere else.
Fine.
Elena walks off.
Well, it's better, of course, seeing this more as a game than anything else, decides to very quickly drink her hot chocolate in short order and then begins to move towards one of the nearby buildings towards the wall and just kind of darts into one of the alleys very casually. And I have to see what I need to do to activate this gift as soon as it loads up. Do-do-do. Did you know we can walk on walls?
Elena's wandered off.
No, I was asking that out of character, sorry.
Oh yes, I know, you're a spider. Makes perfect sense.
Okay,
The tale of Eleanor Fenn when she's not being stalked by Jonathan DuPont, there's a fucking Ananasi after her. It's like stalked is a natural sense of being. But go ahead.
Wild Spider will spend the Gnosis point to be able to climb up the walls, scurry up rather quickly to the top of the buildings, and begins to walk along the edges of it, staring down at Elena, just watching her very carefully, always remaining about 3 or 4 paces behind, proportionately.
Okay, let me roll some perception and alertness, hey? See
Yeah.
if I notice you. One, what do you think? These ones cancel, obviously.
Creepy feeling that you might be being followed?
Creepy feeling that she might be getting followed. Righty dokie. She knows that feeling all too well. Hands go into the pocket, shoulders come around her ears, and she'll just sort of make herself even smaller and more harmless looking than she already is. One hand will go into the bag where she's got her car keys, and just with a bit of a jingle and a jangle, put them in her hand, ready to get them out to find her car and get in and drive off. But very fidgety, will just continue to walk, quickening pace now.
Wild Spider looks down and watches Elena sort of speed up and kind of chuckles. Still very much unaware that this person that she met, for all intents and purposes, is just a normal human being to her. Sort of picking up her speed. She still views it very much as a game. And while perhaps viewing Elena as prey in a manner of speaking, something to be pursued, she begins to take a few quick leaps and bounds, spending a blood point to get a single dot of what would, for a vampire, be considered a celerity-esque speed to get a few paces onto the building just ahead to slide and then quickly slide down one of the fire escapes. And I'll go ahead and make a dex athletics roll to see if I don't, well, rather unceremoniously completely just fail that, because that would be hilarious.
Roll it.
Athletics 3, dexterity 3 in this form. Almost. Almost. Not landing as gracefully as she thought. Elena will perhaps hear a slight clanging of a fire escape ladder coming down, and then a loud crash of a aluminum can, and yeah. And Wild Spider tumbles out into the sidewalk in front of her, sort of on her rear end with her legs kind of sprawled a bit, looking up sort of with a half-embarrassed look on her face. That didn't go well at all.
Elena spins on the spot. I'll just go straight towards the noise. Now, let's have a look. You took pitiable, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Eleanor's harmless. A harmless and a pitiable person stalking each other in an alley. This is going to be amazing. Eleanor needs to make a quick roll. Okay. Just starts, fuck. Just takes an involuntary breath in, becomes fidgety, hand comes out of her pocket. The ring of the keys is wrapped around one of her fingers and she jangles as she turns. And then just sort of lets it all back out. And then again stops breathing because she doesn't need to. But we'll actually walk on over gently and very cautiously and then put a hand out to help you up.
She stands up and she's sort of rubbing her ass at that point. That really hurt.
Maybe you could stop following me.
Where would the fun be in that?
Why are you following me?
Well, I was at home, sitting, reading, trying to sleep. That got boring. So I came out. And you'd be surprised how many people don't talk to you in this city. I've walked around for 2 hours. Nobody once said hi.
Considering you are quite the charming person that is so charismatic as to flick foam on people's noses, I do wonder why that is.
Well, you know, I thought it was very charming too. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. And there's literally no sarcasm in that voice whatsoever.
And Eleanor just sort of, again, looks up, looks to the side, and, of course, wearing a big wraparound sunnies, and just go, ah, sarcasm. I didn't know we were in Text-Speak land. Please do not, let me just make this blunt for you, please do not flick foam on people's noses. They do not appreciate it. You're obviously unaware of what sarcasm is, so let me make that very clear to you.
She seems to nod, and she reaches into her messenger bag and pulls out what looks to be something like a little steno flip-top notebook, and pulls it out and pulls a pen out and begins to write in it. Don't flick foam on people's nose. Look up sarcasm. And then flips it shut.
Got in him. Eleanor just sort of backs up and finds a garbage can, which is quite clean and empty, and then just goes and sits cross-legged on there, and just for a long moment studies this woman in front of her and just goes, "So what are you?"
What do you mean, what am I?
You are either one of the most tactless, ignorant women that I have ever met, or you're something not quite normal.
Well, my mother never really called me normal. Ever.
Mothers generally do not call their children normal.
Well, I had a lot of brothers and sisters, and a lot of brothers and sisters, and my mother made a very strong attempt to make sure that I knew I wasn't normal.
My father is doing a very good job of making sure that I'm not normal also. That doesn't answer my question. What are you?
She'll look at Elena for a few seconds, and I'm gonna roll perception and empathy on this one because she really doesn't get it.
Yep, go for it. What's going through Eleanor's mind is the last couple of nights she's just met a whole myriad of strange, unnatural creatures, and the fact that this person is taking notes about human behavior is just a trigger right there. If you want me to backpedal and roll to make that connection, I will, but I'm going to say difficulty would be like 2.
Not even worth a roll, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Charlotte will kind of rub the back of her head and then hold out her hand. Well, first off, I'm Charlotte. And she holds out her hand in a very practiced manner.
I'm Eleanor. And Eleanor extends her hand, and um, Charlotte will notice that there's a bit of dirt and grit under the nails, a few cuts and scrapes along the knuckles, and yeah, a bit of fresh soil there as well. And Eleanor will go for a shake. The palm's quite clean, like she's washed her hands, but she's missed a few spots.
When Charlotte sees the dirt underneath the fingernails, her lips literally twitch, as does her eye. Huh. Don't necessarily keep yourself 100% clean.
Manipulation! Call that too. I was doing some gardening last night.
Oh.
And yeah, I didn't get to go home because I was at a friend's place doing gardening.
I love gardens. I grew up
Really?
near
I
one.
like plants.
I do. Some of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah,
And
plants are
she
good.
literally takes the lid off of one of the trash cans that's a little bit cleaner than the one next to Elena's trash can and sets it on top so she can sit on the other one.
But you didn't answer my question.
Okay, so you're asking me what I am.
Yes.
I'm somebody who doesn't really have a home, per se. I found a nice tree to avoid the elements under for now. Um, I helped save someone's life last night.
That's very noble of you.
And,
When you
well,
say that you
before. Well,
Well, when you say you helped save someone's life, you mean really save someone's life, not just like make a donation to the Red Cross or an African child's charity or anything like that. Because they always put spin on that, but the tax is always too high for them to actually get through to the poor Nepalese children that just want an education.
no, this person was sort of stuck in a bad place between bad things fighting each other.
Uh-huh. And see, that's what I'm trying to find out. Am I wise in continuing to talk to you, or are you one of these bad things that wants to kill me?
Why would I want to kill you?
Can't tell you, but what are you?
No, 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 no. If I'm going to tell you what you want to know, you should tell me something about yourself as well.
Ah, ha, ha. The old quid pro quo.
She pulls out the notebook again and writes that down. How do you spell that?
Eleanor holds out the notebook, the hand for the notebook.
She hands it over, and when she does, you can literally see a myriad of things that anybody with any sort of social understanding of basic human social structure would not need to take notes on.
Hmm. Eleanor will write down quid pro quo. Also write down learn about Google. And yeah, and she's just gonna write down Machiavelli with in brackets research and hand it back.
Hmm. She looks at it. Maka. You know what? I'm gonna have my brother read that one to me.
That one's advanced studies. That one's advanced studies. Or you could try. There's a fellow who in the 15th century wrote a book on how to deal with merchants. Very good study for dealing with humans
Hmm.
and emotional states. And his name was Maximilian of Bavaria. He was a duke.
A
He had a
duke.
big nose. Big nose.
Becomes duke. Hmm.
Yes.
She frowns as she reaches into her messenger bag and pulls out a what looks to be like a jogger's bottle and pops the top. And if you want, just do me a little favor and make a perception and alertness roll.
Du-du-du-du. Bing! I don't know what your difficulty is.
That's successes. That is a success pool of yes.
That's a successful yes.
How much has Elena fed tonight?
Squirrel. One.
How's her blood pool doing?
As a gang rule, you don't use much, but she's down about 3, let's say. So
Okay.
she could fast for a bit longer.
What's coming out of the top of that bottle with that incredible sense of smell that you've got going right now? You can definitely smell what is in that container appeals to you very much.
Eleanor just stops and again see the nostrils twitching. I'm just going to again. Okay, that'll hold me together. Eleanor will just sort of turn, almost like she's scented prey.
And Charlotte
It's just,
literally takes a sip out of the bottle, which is not clear, it's opaque for obvious reasons.
yeah. Eleanor would just start sort of mucking with her fingers behind her, where she's just leaning up against the wall.
So you're like me?
She turns and cants her head to one side with a blank expression.
A vampire.
Vampire. Oh! No. No, I'm not.
Oh shit, I'm in trouble then.
I don't think so when she looks around. Why would you be in trouble?
Because I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. Can you forget about it real quick, please? And don't tell anyone. Otherwise, I might have to organize someone to kill you because I can't kill anyone.
Can you do me if you are one? Do you happen to know Mr. Silas?
I don't know. Who is this Mr. Silas?
Well, there were some rather rude vampires that came to my brother's place one time and threatened to kill me, and Mr. Silas got really angry at them and said, "You're not going to touch." And she points at herself.
Who were these nasty people?
I think the one guy's name was a number. 7 or 6 or 9s or something, I can't remember.
I don't know anyone's name is a number. At least I don't think so.
Well, that's good.
But if... Oh, damn it. Oh, I'm in trouble anyway. But if you're not like me, and you're drinking that, then what are you?
Well, I could show you, I could tell you, but if we did that, we would have to be friends. And she smiles. And if she had a tail, it would be wagging at that point, but she doesn't.
We... Not sure about this.
What's the worst that can happen?
My side could be crying over a pile of ashes by the morning.
Not really my style. I'm not like one of the barbarians in the park.
Oh, them.
Yeah, they're kind of mean-spirited and cranky.
Cranky bears.
I don't know why they always get so grumpy.
I don't know. I'd need to find out.
No, you really don't. They barely like me.
Oh, I'm not saying tonight. I'm not saying tonight. But I can be quite convincing. And adorable, so I'm told.
Charlotte stands up and then looks at Elena. She's standing pretty much right in front of Elena and kind of starts looking her up and down. About how heavy are you?
Oh, she's tiny, light, very light. She'd probably be too skinny for her build, and she's not got the flaw of being short, but she's small.
Hmm. She just simply reaches out for Elena's hand.
Elena takes the hand.
And she looks at the hand and she looks up at Elena. I promise I won't hurt you.
Eleanor's curiosity is getting the better of her, and she'll just go along with it, and she'll just go, okay.
She'll lead Elena a bit further back out of sight of the mouth of the alley until they're basically around a corner of one of the buildings, and the sort of alley within an alley. And she just turns around and then looks up. All right, I'm going to need you to hop on my back.
Say what?
You heard me.
Elena looks around.
But. Okay.
Elena will zip the messenger bag closed and make sure it's nice and tight around her shoulders, pop it across her body rather than on one shoulder, and then just hop on Charlotte's back.
Charlotte sort of seems a bit stronger than she looks. Not by a whole leap, but she definitely able to handle Elena's weight with very little effort on her part.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes her way to the wall and places her hand against it, places the other one against it, and through her flip-flops puts her toes on the wall, and very slowly and gingerly she begins to crawl upwards, clinging to the wall like a fly.
Elena passes her courage roll and hangs on. And almost like Elena's forgetting that she is riding up on somebody's back. She'll just sort of look down from where she's hanging on like a little spider monkey and goes, "Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Where are you taking me? Charlotte, where are you taking me? This is getting really high now. This is really high. I don't think I can fall this high. Charlotte?"
Just to the top, just to the top. It's only one, two. She starts counting the windows. It's only 16 windows up.
You can feel Eleanor's hands just shift, and rather than just hang on to you, she's actually interlocked fingers in front of your chest, so if you try to throw her off, at least you're going with her.
Charlotte just kind of makes a few grunts as she tries to adjust the weight, and then finally a very mischievous thought comes across her face, and she stops for a minute and just chuckles a bit, and then just continues to climb the entire while looking like she's trying to keep from laughing very, very loudly before they finally get to the top.
Eleanor's actually grabbed on quite tight. Not so much that she's, getting any blood into it just yet, but she's hanging on with all of her 2 strength. And when you get to the top, she's actually got her eyes closed. Not that you can see underneath her sunnies, but her brows are down, and it looks like she's pressing her eyes closed.
Charlotte is going to attempt something once they get to the top. She's like, okay, only about 10 more feet to go.
Okay, just tell me when we're there, please.
And she'll very gingerly take a few steps onto the actual roof itself before just gonna roll my stamina and primal urge. And that's good enough.
Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Elena, I'm guessing she's kind of like full-on cat grab, like legs crossed across her and arms crossed across her.
Yep.
She's gonna fall flat on her butt on the roof, and she can feel just little things crawling everywhere as they scurry away from her.
I was right to get my frenzy dice ready. Oh, I hold that shit together. Elena is quite cute when she lets go of everything and backs away, nearly stumbling off the roof. Actually, let's give me I'll do myself a dex check on that one. Otherwise, Elena will stumble off the roof. Dex of 2. We'll say athletics as well. Where's my dice pool? No, Elena. Let's go. And then scrambles backwards, trying to get away from the crawling thingies. She half topples over the roof, and we'll see if. And she doesn't catch herself, sadly.
Gonna have to spend a few blood points on this one.
You're the ass that got spiders involved.
Sorry.
Deal with it.
Alright, spending 1 blood point to get to change forms. And, oh god, that's actually terrible. I'm just gonna go with the original. And skittering to the side of the thing, she's gonna go for a Dex and athletics roll. Or no, shoot, she's just gonna spend another point of blood, and she's just gonna spit a web line down at you. Catch you.
See how you go.
So that'll be Dex and I don't even know what that would be. Dex and athletics, I guess.
Yeah, like you're throwing pretty much on your same as you're throwing.
More or less, I guess.
Yeah.
Spinning a willpower point because new friend, don't want it to fall and break.
It's already falling. It will break soon.
Okay, so good thing I spent the willpower point. A line of webbing that's almost as strong as steel cable actually hits Elena in the chest and sticks to her in a almost Marvel-esque manner, and crouched or perched atop of this is a very lithe and slender creature that is very slowly pulling the web line back towards it.
I'm not even going to roll because as soon as Elena sort of falls backwards and tumbles and tries to catch herself, as soon as that free fall comes, she's just going to let out a blood-curdling scream of shit, I'm falling, but more of a ah as the line hits her square in the chest and sticks. There'll be that that thunk of pretty much everything coming to a halt, all the air coming out of the lungs that was in there, and Elena just, rather than continuing to scream, just has no real sense of breathing. She's just wide-eyed staring. She tries to form words, but she's forgetting to breathe in almost, and just stares wide-eyed at this thing that is currently going nom nom nom. Come closer, Clarice. I will just do some fate dice though. Eleanor's sunnies have fallen off in the fall, in the jolt, and Charlotte will see those cute red glowing eyes.
Wild spider at this point, just
Wild
kind of
spider, whatever.
yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah, all the same monikers. She just kind of looks and can't really blink at this point, but cants its head to one side as continues to draw Elena up until they're just about 5 feet apart, and it will offer out the normal-ish hand atop the shoulder, or attached at the shoulder, out towards her.
Eleanor looks a bit dazed. It's almost like there's tears forming in the side of her eyes. She's obviously quite scared. But after a while, just again, that little moment of the little purr at the back of the throat, eyes closed, and just calms herself, visibly calms herself, and then just reaches up to the hand. Says, please don't drop me again.
The palm is very fleshy, but there are segments around it that are hard, like a chitinous plating. And there are very long claws at the end of each of these fingers, but they are very careful and nimble to avoid grasping at her flesh directly with those.
Mm-hmm.
But she finally lifts Elena up high enough that Elena's almost face to face with her, or it, or at this point it's more of an it. And as much of a smile can form on that face, there's one that does, before it turns around and just sets her down very gently. And remaining in the crouched position, we'll roll Primal Urge and Stamina, which for an Ananasi in Lillian form is... wow. A fair bit better. But can't make it happen. So just gonna spend a point of blood to shift back into homage form.
Eleanor, for her part, when she's been sat down, like stood down, she will actually just sit right the way down. As soon as her feet touch the ground itself, she's cross-legged on the rooftop, both hands just flat on the ceiling beside her. It's like she's making sure that there is ground under her, and just sits there, quite still, stock still, and just staring straight at you.
Wild Spider, or Charlotte at this point, for its part, is just kind of smirking at Elena. Almost lost you there.
Excuse me. Okay. Get your notebook out.
Reaches down for the notebook and pulls it out and flips open the top and has a pen in hand.
Go to a new page. New
New
page.
page?
New page.
New page?
New page.
Flips over to a new page.
Now write in big letters. Don't do that again.
She
Naughty
stops a little bit
spider.
and looks up at Elena. I thought that was kind of playful.
No!
It's seeing this reaction, Charlotte actually just kind of inches towards Elena. Very slowly, very cautiously.
Helena backs up. Just not shuffles backwards this time. She knows better than to move, but just leans backward on her elbows.
Don't, please.
She just gets as close as she possibly can and then very gingerly attempts to hug Elena. And just kind of mumbles very quietly, "Didn't mean to scare you."
Elena's just sitting there gritting her teeth. Her fangs will have actually popped out at this point, just as a fight or flight maneuver. Like her body's saying fight, but her mind is saying flight. So she's very confused at the moment. And as the arms come around her, she'll just stiffen like a board. Like every single muscle that she has got is taut. And please don't botch. I don't want a frenzy on a freaking Ananasi. I'm good. She'll just sort of again just okay. And just unfurl her hands where they've involuntarily clawed in front of her and just put a hand around and just go pat on Charlotte's back. It's okay. It's just not socially acceptable to do that. But I think that's also partially my fault, so don't worry.
So that was a bit more abrupt than I meant it to be, but yeah, that's kind of me.
Okay. You caught me, which is good. Good thing. You know what? It's fine. Don't worry about it.
At this point,
But
she's
this
moved to kind of sit on her knees in front of Elena.
the spider thing, the little creepy crawlers, not a good thing. People don't like creepy crawlers on them. They just don't.
She'll look behind you where you kind of fell and look at about 20 or so dead spiders and then reach behind herself and realize her hair is about half the length as it was before. Oh.
Oops.
I think I kind of deserve that one. So, you really, really mad at me?
So you're a spider.
Mm-hmm. She nods.
Okay. But you're not a vampire.
Last time I checked, I can still go out in the sunlight, so no.
So you're not my kind of vampire then. Apparently we can shapeshift too when we get older.
I guess not.
No.
What's your kind?
I'm kind of like a vampire that's good with animals.
Hmm.
Also, I wasn't gardening. That was a lie. I was out in the forest. Because it's nice there.
Charlotte smiles a bit more warmly at that. You know, I spent like 3 months in Sequoia National Park just living in the trees.
That sounds awesome.
It was. It was like literally I could sleep like this on one whole branch by myself. And have plenty of room to lay out. It was great.
I've never been there. I'd like to go one time. But I think I need to grow up a tiny bit more.
You look pretty grown up to me.
I thought that too. I did think that. But now I'm new again. And I don't really know all of everything, but I do know that I can't tell you too much, otherwise I'll get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I get in trouble too. My siblings, in a manner of speaking, I'm the smallest of them, and sometimes when I make mistakes, they take me out behind. What did Veronica call it? Took me out behind the tool shed.
And it doesn't sound very fun. If I'm bad, I get thrown off cliffs.
That doesn't sound fun.
No. But it teaches you to be harder.
So when you fall off a cliff, you become, and she like starts poking at Elena's like shoulder. You become harder. You haven't fell off many
I don't.
times then.
No,
You keep kind of
I'm still
soft.
squishy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of squishy. I
Maybe I should
break
have
it
let.
easily.
Maybe I should have let you fall. It could have been harder. Or would that have killed you?
I don't know. I don't know. Eleanor looks down at the 16 floors. I don't know. I know that I could probably do half of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll just quickly shoot a glance over at Charlotte. Don't think about
What?
it.
She's staying about.
Don't!
She's staying a few feet back. What?
I heard that thought. Don't.
You can read minds?
No. I can read demeanors. And I know that you're just trying to help me be harder because we're friends now. All of a sudden. But not right now. Right now, right now you want to be my friend?
Mm-hmm.
Can you please go down to that store and get me some new sunglasses? Because I can't walk around like this.
You're not gonna like run away, are you?
Ellen just almost takes it as a threatening thing of you're my friend, I can never let you go now. And just sort of go, no, because I can't climb walls.
That's true.
please, friend?
She reaches into her pocket and pulls out a few bills, and it's about a 5, a 1, and a 1, and they're crumpled, and she holds them out. Is this enough?
That'll do. Elena looks in her pockets and again gets out like a few coins, not much, and adds it to it, just so that she doesn't get the cheapest sunnies on the shelf. I think that'll be a bit better. See if you can get some that wrap around a bit. Because, as you can see, I glow. And she'll just bat her eyelashes a tiny bit and do a little blink, 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 blink.
Charlotte thinks about it for a few moments and then just kind of walks to the edge of the building and very casually just takes off her flip-flops and walks down the side of the building as if she were walking on the sidewalk. And it's about 10 minutes or so that pass.
In the meantime, beckoning. That one doesn't count. Come to me, birdies. Come to me, birdies. Writing note. Frank met some sort of strange spider on top of the roof of this building. If I don't come back, please start looking here. Making roll. Instructions are clear enough. And the birds will go to the cave. And when you come back, Ellen is sitting quite nicely where you left her, with a very innocent expression on her face.
Wild Spider, or Charlotte, kind of just sits down and in front of Elena in a Indian style, and she comes back with sunglasses that don't really wrap around, but she's looking at them almost as if she's studying them, and she's going to roll her stamina and primal urge again. Did it.
What are you doing?
She is doing a partial transformation inside her throat.
Mm-hmm.
And she sets the glasses down in front of her, and she literally just kind of looks like she's chewing gum for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then spits this sort of a few strands of silk into her hands about 3 or 4 times until they're coming together. And she starts, it almost looks like she's doing cat's cradle with them, working it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Elena's eyebrows are just going, what are you doing?
She just looks up and goes, shh, concentrating. And she very skillfully starts taking individual strands of silk and going between the rims and the actual bracket of the lens. It goes back and forth 3 or 4 times in the top and just continues to do it until there's literally kind of like a silk sort of screen on the top, and she repeats the process for the bottom on one side until finally it's literally like Jamie Heidelman's glasses but white on one side, and she holds it up and allows Elena to inspect.
Elena just holds it up and goes, that's pretty cool. That'll do. Can you do the other side, please?
She nods and continues to do this and repeats the process on the other side. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Until finally an appropriate number has been made. And then she just very gingerly places them on Elena's nose.
That's better. You know, I always thought sunglasses at night was a very pretentious ass move, but nowadays they're like a safety blanket because I know that I'll be in so much trouble if I don't wear them.
Why do your eyes glow like that?
I don't know. Just happened when I became a vampire.
Do you get in trouble if people find out about you? I think so, because I've never heard of spider people.
Hmm. If Mr. Silas is still alive, he's heard of us before. He was a very good friend to my older brother.
Would you get in trouble with Silas? I would.
I don't think so. I think Mr. Silas actually kind of likes me. He got
Eleanor
me.
just makes a wry face at that.
He bought me coloring books for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first off, I still kind of new with this whole people thing. I wasn't born like this, and she points to herself. When I said I had lots of brothers and sisters, I had a lot of brothers and sisters.
I'm making that connection, Eleanor points at the spiders. So you were... So you're like the opposite. See, I was born a human and now I'm a vampire, and you were born a spider and now you're human.
I wouldn't really necessarily call what I am human.
Well, human looking.
Yes,
Okay.
some of my siblings aren't. Well, they're. I guess they're not really siblings, but we're kind of a family. All my other siblings, I kind of ate.
Right.
I, it's a spider thing.
It is a spider thing, but not something that you should probably... Well, I mean, we are friends now, I suppose. I've trusted you and you've trusted me. So, how new are you to all this people thing? I mean, you can obviously read and write. Boy, did you get taught that when you were a spider?
No, I got taught that in the winter, and I read some very starty books. Dr. Seuss, although I don't think he was really a doctor.
No, it's just a pseudonym, a nom de plume, as it were. Ellen is actually struggling to find the simple words. Um, it's like a name, a fake name that you give yourself to make you sound better. See, his name might have really just been, I don't know, Bob Brooks, something very reasonably plain, but he wanted to call himself Dr. Seuss because that would be more appealing to people.
Okay. Oh, makes sense, I guess. Hmm. But yeah, my sibling taught me to read and write, and I took uh, the kind of train that doesn't carry passengers. What is that called?
A cargo train?
Mm-hmm. I I used one of those to get across the country, and I had lots of books to read, and I read lots of books, lots and lots of books. Some of them I didn't understand, some of them I did. I'm still calling BS on that book about the dinosaurs. I don't think you can do that.
Are you talking about Jurassic Park or Dinotopia?
Jurassic Park.
Ah, yes. No. But you should have a look at Dinotopia. It's a very beautiful book and it's very well illustrated. Has very pretty pictures.
I know what illustrated means.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just still testing the waters.
So, how did you become? She points at sort of where Elna's eyes are.
Ah, quickly and unexpectedly.
Quickly and under.
Elena just nods. I haven't really been told all of the details. I kinda know the theory, but I'm more interested in the changes that occur. And the best I can get out of my vampire dad is its magic. Stop asking.
She chuckles. Oh, but okay, so she leans up really close to Elena and actually like puts a finger towards Elena's lips as though she's trying to lift Elena's lips to see the fangs on the inside.
Hey!
I just want to see.
Notebook, Charlotte. Ask before touching. It's what humans do.
Ah, okay. And she reaches down for them and writes, and then very interestedly, almost like a dog watching somebody with a treat, just
Okay.
sits in front of Elena and smiles.
Now try it again.
Can
You
I?
want to see my fangs?
Yes,
You?
please.
Just ask politely.
Can I please see your fangs?
We go. Eleanor just pops her lips up and just pops her fangs. And goes, there you go. Not very impressive, considering that you can turn into a spider.
Well, I'm sure you've got other cool things you can do.
I haven't discovered them yet. Eleanor retracts her fangs.
Yours go up too. I thought yours were like always on.
No, that would be uncomfortable, and that would make it very difficult to hide, unless you're hiding in goth culture.
Goth. Oh, the people that dress always in black and the guys even wear black makeup.
Yes, even though remember that the Visigoths and the Ostrogoths were actually Germanic tribes, so I don't know where they got that word from. Do you like history? I do.
I'm learning. Although Santa told me Goths died out in like 2002.
Some people are quite anachronous.
Eh?
Some people cling to their ways and don't like to change.
That sounds like the people in the park.
Have you met them?
I've met a few of them. Some of them are nicer than others. Some of them threaten to kill me. There's a big one with red fur in the park that's really mean.
What about the ones that don't try to kill you?
Um, I guess because I'm kind of like them, they give me a pass. I don't think they like me, but I think they put up, what was the word they used? Tolerate. They tolerate me. But I'm not allowed to go in the park. I'm not allowed to go in the park.
I don't think that any of us are allowed to go in the park. I think that's their home, and they're very protective of it.
You have no idea. I went in there a couple of times, and I'm not going back.
My animals could go in.
Animals.
Hmm.
She leans her head to one side and narrows her eyes with a smirk. You can do things with animals?
Elena just nods. Yeah, it's part of my gifts.
Gifts, okay. So you have gifts too.
Yeah, maybe not like yours, but oh, screw it. Elena just takes her sunnies off and looks around and just looks for a shadow going across the night sky, and we will beckon some owls. We will beckon one owl. Elena just sort of pops one hand out, makes eye contact after making a little whoo into the sky. The owl's eyes turn, and it just lazily does a circle and lands on Elena's wrist. Let's say
barely not drawing blood with those talons because Eleanor's got a coat on. And she'll just do the old sit still and we won't hurt you. Alright, so the owl just sits there being an owl, its head just going from one side to the next and ruffling its feathers and going whoo back at Eleanor. And she's just holding the owl.
While the spider, at this point, is sort of leaning towards the bird and licking her lips with very big eyes.
No, Charlotte.
But birds are
Notebook.
so tasty.
Don't. Okay, but not an owl.
Not an owl?
No, because they keep the vermin under control. You have to think about the ecosystem of a city. There's lots of humans. Humans make a lot of trash. A trash makes a lot of rats and mice, and that's going to disrupt the ecosystem not only in the city but also in the surrounds. Owls keep the vermin under control. Don't you, sweetheart? And Eleanor just gives the owl a pat behind the neck, and Bird's loving this owl, just its eyes roll backwards and goes, ah, scratch. And Eleanor goes, okay, if you want birds, I can do pigeons too, but not owls. Got it written down?
And she's kind of gagging as she writes down, pigeons. Flying little rodents.
Okay.
So owls, no. Crows, definitely no.
Ecosystem, write down ecosystem and look into it.
Ecosystem.
Okay.
Falcons. See some of them every once in a while.
They're Frank's favourite. I couldn't. Alright, off you go. And Eleanor just sends the owl on its way.
I wonder if I could start going back to the Bronx Zoo. I used to eat a lot of birds there. And then...
So that you can hunt by yourself, can't you?
Hmm?
You're quite adept at hunting for yourself, aren't you?
And she points to the canister that's sitting beside her, well, the jogger's canister. Yeah, more or less.
Well, then you don't need to go eating when you're not hungry.
Yeah, but I had to eat, or I had to use a lot of what I ate to keep you from falling to your death.
So I guess I do owe you.
And
an albatross lands on the fucking roof with that roll. And we'll just quickly go. Yep. Alright. Elena just makes eye contact with the giant bird and just strokes its head and goes,
Sorry.
just gonna roll a little dex and brawl roll there. I think in Hamid it is... Yay! Nope. She makes a very clumsy grapple as she's trying to get up off of her knees in such a quick move that she stumbles and kind of falls just before the albatross, looking up at it. It kind of groans.
Fate dice. It takes off.
Mm-hmm.
No animalism can keep it there. And it's just ringing in Eleanor's ears. There's the little albatross voice is going, "Trusted you! Trusted you!" And Eleanor sort of turns back to Charlotte and goes, "Great, now I'm the dick."
I'm really hungry now.
God, what am I going to do with you?
Can't leave you. Look at you. Alright. Let's go back down. And we'll go get you something.
I don't know. This night hasn't been going so well. One thing I did right was to keep you from falling.
Sorry. Okay. You stopped me from falling. That was very nice of you. You also got spiders into my underpants, which I don't appreciate. However,
Oh,
the
wait a
fact
minute.
that
She sort of just stares at Elena's legs, and she'll actually feel some of the few remaining ones that are alive start to make their way out.
thank you. Much appreciated.
I can't believe you
Now,
stayed in there.
are you going to take me off this roof or do I have to jump?
She looks a little bit perplexed and kind of takes Elena's hand and starts walking towards the opposite side of the building and points down to where she had jumped down originally and points at the fire escape.
Okay. Right. I will leave. And if you want, you can come with me. We will find you some more birds. Can I take you home? Do you have somewhere you need to be?
Not presently, not really. Don't have a job. I don't get my allowance for a couple more days. But somebody said, no, you have to make it last. $100 a week should be enough for you.
Hey, $100 a week isn't too bad. Do you think I got allowance?
Maybe?
No. Still don't get allowance.
Hmm.
Mm. No, that's okay. I've got cheaty tricks. How do you feel about cats?
I saw a cat eat one of my siblings before I realized I was more than just them.
Okay. So no cats.
No, I fucking hate cats.
Okay. That's good. Because
People
there's one of the...
people do really good too.
No. Naughty.
It doesn't hurt them. I
No.
mean, it makes them look droopy. I mean, where do you think I got this? And she picks up the canister again.
Ellen just scrunches her nose up at it. Mm.
She pops the top of it and just holds it out. Come on.
No. Get it out of my face.
You know you want to try it.
Oh, I've tried it. It's damn good. That's the problem. I think that I might like it too much.
This one was a vegan.
Not helping Charlotte.
There's those stores, the health food stores. No medications in their blood. Doesn't taste all chemically.
Neither do raccoons.
Yeah, raccoons have. Well, granted, I've only eaten city. I've only eaten city animals for the most part.
You poor thing. You have to come hunting with me sometime.
I'd really like to catch a deer like in a web, like I used to with bugs.
Deer are good. My first meal was a deer.
Yeah, venison's good too.
I remember venison.
And French fries and sushi. I really love sushi. Do you like sushi?
I love sushi, and I miss cake.
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 Well, you can't eat cake?
I can't eat cake. You can probably eat cake.
I can eat just about anything, and I prefer stuff to be
I've kind of done.
soft. The harder stuff, it makes my stomach hurt.
No. No cake. Well, how about we go get cake for you?
And then we don't have to kill people.
I never said I've never. Well, okay. There's the one. And I
Yeah.
felt bad about that one. Oddly
Well,
enough, my siblings didn't. They thought, I was just not doing what I was supposed to do, and they were more mad that I did it because of that than the fact that I killed somebody. And they were even mad at me
strange.
because I felt bad.
Your siblings sound like a bunch of assholes.
Well, Veronica definitely can be, but she also brings me food. Um, and Sable, well, he sometimes is an asshole, but I can always get back at him because he's not stronger than me.
Hmm.
And I tore his art gallery up once when he made me angry. It was great.
Charlotte, you know that two wrongs don't make a right, don't you?
No, but it was funny.
No, it's not funny to wreck artworks.
No, but here was the thing. There was some art guy there. I think he might have been one of your people, too, by the way. He spoke with an Italian accent, and he wore really, really nice clothes.
Oh, I know him.
He said after I tore it all up, he came and he saw it, and he's like, "This is some of the greatest artwork I've ever seen."
After you tore it up.
After I tore it up, he said something about how chaotic it was and such a. I don't know the words he used, but he said it was like a good portrait of how things are in the city right now.
Mamma mia, basta asciutto poco d'ora. Da, and this is my primogen.
What's a premature?
Let's go get cake. My mind is hurting.
Okay, cake.
Let's go get cake. Cake is good. Hey, what do they call you anyway? I mean, are you like a I don't know, spider girl or were spider or whatever?
I think that name's already taken, Spider Girl. I don't want to have to pay people to use my name. I'll tell you what, if you see Silas again, try not to tell too many people about me, but if you do see Silas, could you tell him that Silky's back? They'll know who you're talking about.
Okay, okay. I'll tell him. I'll tell him.
But,
Hey, no go.
well, I was just saying that, and I think Charlotte was meant as a joke by some others like me, not my siblings, because they thought I was being silly, but Charlotte was meant as a joke.
Hey, you know the story of Charlotte's Web?
Yes, she reaches down into her book and pulls it out. The
That's
corners
what
are completely frayed and is barely holding itself together.
I think that's what they're talking about.
I know, I found that out later.
Yeah.
But I don't see why it's a joke. This is actually a really good book.
I don't know. Some people just make up silly names for us, but sometimes the silly names are a lot more fitting than the names that we're given at birth. I mean, did you get given a name at birth? I did.
Yeah, I did.
Does your mum give you names when you're a spider? You have to think of so many names.
She had ones for all of us. Till I ate them.
Clever. Ugh. Okay. Sorry.
What?
Still getting used. No, I'm sorry. I'm just still getting used to all these different things in the world.
You've never thought about eating your siblings before?
No. Actually, I have to make a manipulation roll on that. And I'm gonna set the difficulty pretty fucking high. And yeah, no. When she says no, she she does have that glint in her eyes that might say yes.
Let me just, for S's and G's, let's roll the perception and empathy on that one and see what we get on the other side. Just need one success, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Lots of successes. 4 successes.
Oh shit, yeah, and 2 of those are 10s. Um, she's lying blatantly. She has obviously many times thought about murdering someone of her bloodline. Well, maybe not her current bloodline, but her human bloodline.
She comes up really close to Elena and just kind of nudges her in the side. Oh, you have thought about it.
Cake. Let's go get cake.
Okay. We don't have any money, though. I don't have any, anyways.
Hmm.
Come on, let's go to the vegan place.
What?
No, go to the vegan place.
Why?
Well, even if we're not gonna, you know, take a bite out of them, if you just sit there looking sad, they eventually will ask you if you want anything.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
It's better than me getting that owl back and charging $5 a photo to take a photo with the owl.
That's actually a really good idea.
You think?
Well, I mean, we could always still use the money, but let's see how far sad people in front of a health food store looks.
Okay.
If you don't mind the smell, most of them don't shower.
Alright, let's just do straight charismas. This is fucking hilarious. Straight charismas will set difficulty at 7, hey?
Okay.
Fucking hilarious. Elena has the puppy eyes. What about you?
Willpower. 2 successes. Yep. Puppy eyes.
So between somebody who looks helpless and the other one that looks pitiable, even through sunglasses, you know, the health food shop lady comes out with a little brown paper bag, and inside there's little healthy nut treats and coconut crusted little dumplings, and just goes, "Can't sell them tonight anymore. You kids want them?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Say thank you.
Quiver, lip quiver. Thank you. I'm so very hungry.
Thank you. Always say thank you to people. They'll remember you.
The lady just smiles and just quite motheringly says, "You two girls stay out of trouble."
We will. Thank you.
And off into the night. This dynamic duo of
Pitiable and harmless.
harmless make their way off into the night to enjoy their treats. And I think there we can end the scene.